I thought so.
What's going on, my friend?
Not too much, man. How you doing?
Man, good. Over here dealing with my dog. He seems to always want to be up in my face when I'm on the phone. It's hilarious. I got a French bulldog.
Okay.
Where he's like a little attention whore.
Oh, dude, your dog and my black lab. My black lab, his name is Fury. He's an old guy now. He's like he's gonna be 12 this year, and he's the same way. Like he'll actually come and sit like in front of me, like in the evening if I'm at home or something. You're just kind of chilling on the couch. He'll come and sit in front of me and go, I'm like, dude, what do you want? Like, I mean, like, you know, like he's like, I'll give him like, a treat or something, make sure he's got plenty of food and water, and he'll still come over and be like, I'm like, dude, you can't talk. You're just a dog, man. What's up with you?
Like, yeah, you're gonna have like, I don't understand you. Come on, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Like,
that's the same way Otto is.
Yeah, people was like, your dog's name's
Otto.
Fury? I'm like, yeah, he's not furious at all. He's just a big fuzzy dog, man.
Yeah, Otto, he's funny, man. He's got super personality. He and I have gone rounds though, because like when he gets mad, like he is just a jerk. Like he will, I swear, like you leave something on the floor, you piss him off, he will go up and mark it, and you're like, are you serious, dude? Like he, and when you don't pay attention to him, he'll like go sit in my bedroom doorway and just lay on the floor and look at you and pout. Like,
oh yeah, man.
I'm like, man, you've got to chill. He's always like,
we gotta send our dogs to therapy, dude.
I think so, man. I may have to go to therapy after dealing with him.
Well, Shy,
I don't know what I did.
That's fantastic, man. This is honestly, man, this is pretty much how our interviews go all the time, man. So this is perfect.
Cool, rock and roll,
I'm talking
man.
with Shy from Savage After Midnight. I like to keep it very natural and casual, man. So dog talk. I'm a dog person myself, but you guys have a lot going on as a band, man, and it's weird. Like a lot of times you see a band come up and get in on a bill. You guys are gonna be touring with Pop Evil, and we'll talk about it in a moment. But and people are like, oh, here's a new and up and coming band. You guys are not like a new up and coming band. You guys have been a band almost for a decade now, man.
Yeah, dude, we've been around for a long, long time, and we seemingly have not strangled each other to death. So like, it's cool, man. It's been a long journey, but I mean, in the end, it's all worth it, you know.
Yeah, man.
And the experience garnered along the way have been like really cool too. So, we've made a lot of good family and established bands out there like Shinedown Camp. I mean, we're like super homies with those dudes. Black Veil Brides, like super, super tight with those dudes. So there's a lot to be said behind the scenes, coming up, but it's cool. And we haven't killed each other yet again.
Yeah, but I think people fail to realize sometimes, especially when you're in a band and there's obviously just a ton of work that goes into it, not just, winning your local scene, but, regionally, and then, getting on those national acts with, Shinedown. I think you guys have done some stuff with Sick Puppies. The list goes on there with bands you guys have done tours with throughout the years. That it's kind of an odd marriage as far as being a band is concerned. It's 4 or 5, sometimes 6 people depending on the band. To make it that long, and it's a testament to a lot of different things. You find out a lot about people when you go on tour with them, and a lot of times bands are like, yeah, we're gonna go on tour, we're gonna do all this stuff, and then like 2 years later they're not a band anymore because they realize we can't not be together for that long. So as far as your guys' inception and beginning, have you guys all kind of grew up together in the same area outside of Memphis?
Well, essentially we all grew up in Memphis, and then I moved away for a while to Knoxville, and then I moved back, and when I did, I was in a band up there, and then I moved back to Memphis, and when I did, I started to put together, I guess, the first version of what is now Savage After Midnight. And so myself, the bass player, and the guitar player have been together, over a decade and been playing together. And then the other 2 guys in the band have been in other projects, but have been out with us. Like the drummer was our first drum tech when we went out and started touring. And then the DJ, JT, which does a lot of vocals as well. We like to trade off vocal parts. I'm not greedy like that. So he was in a bunch of metal projects around Memphis, and we always ran in the same cliques. So it was just, when the project, kind of gravitated towards what it is now, they seemed to make a lot more sense with the project. So we brought them in, and, they've been with us for a while now. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's a testament to the longevity of a band and being around people that you enjoy being around in a band and making music. Now, you guys obviously, like we talked about the tour with Pop Evil coming up. Have you guys ever toured with them or played with them before at all, or is this be the first time out with them?
We played with them back in the day, not as Savage After Midnight, but like the first version of the band. We played with them back in the day on a bunch of like festival stuff. And we actually become like, really close to those dudes too. So like I'm really good friends with Matt and with Davey. Like those guys are like really close to my heart. Actually, when my best friend is Shannon Guns from Sirius Satellite Radio, and when her boyfriend Kato passed, which was another really good friend of mine, he's a big producer. He did like Pretty Reckless and stuff like that. And when he passed, Matt and I got even closer because Matt and I went out and spent a lot of time with Shannon while she was grieving, and going through that. So Matt and I got, super, super close. But funny, we both played like when I was living in Memphis, like we happened to be out on the road and we were playing in Knoxville, and Pop Evil was playing in Knoxville at the same time. This is like years ago. And this is like the first time like we got real close. We we both carried pit bikes with us. So we had like, little 50cc motorcycles we'd carry with us on the road.
Yeah.
And we found out they were in town, and they had no idea that we were there at the same time. So when we wrapped up the show, as quickly as possible, and got everything tightened up and rolled over to theirs while, they were of course off, and, they had started to pack up, and we knew we were kind of getting close to being about the same point in the night. So we rolled up on them and pulled the pit bike out and drove it up next to them. We were like, "Yo, y'all wanna race these things? What's up?"
Nice.
They yanked their pit bike out, and we're like drag racing pit bikes through the streets of Knoxville.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's a good story, man. Thank you for sharing. I've seen a lot of people doing that now, especially like in the summertime and festivals, having those little, those little 50 or 75cc bikes at festivals. Where if you're playing a giant festival or something, you can go buzz around and see everybody on the bike. Maybe do a little ride, pop a couple wheelies, and have some fun at a festival. It's easier to get around and able to see everything backstage with the bikes too. But I'm glad you mentioned the guys from Pop Evil, because obviously those guys have had a lot of success in the last couple of years, but like they're still the same dudes. They were 10 years ago as the way they are now. They've had some member changes and lineup changes and stuff, but for the most part, Matt, he was on the podcast a while back. They're just really just stand up, good dudes. And he was actually sharing some stories about his days working at like Little Caesars and how he used to like draw dicks on the bottom of the pizza boxes and stuff before sliding the pizzas in the boxes and stuff. Just funny shit, stuff you don't always hear, but
right.
Just good fun stories, man. But you guys have a new single out right now, which is I think you're gonna make some headway, getting some radio play, and I think you're gonna end up getting a lot more radio plays as the year goes on here. But 10 Feet Tall is the single. The EP is coming out, which is titled 1159. What's the significance of titling 1159?
So I went in and struck a deal with the label. So initially, the first record was supposed to be a full length, and just the way that people digest music nowadays, it's so quick that I went in and I talked to our A&R, he's incredible, Don, and I asked him to go back to the label and see if we couldn't break the first record up into 2 EPs, so that it would give it a little bit more longevity, allow people to digest it a little bit more. And being a brand new artist out, quote unquote, I felt like it was the stronger play. And so we broke the record up into two, and the first one's 11:59. The second one that will come out will be 12:01. So it's Savage After Midnight.
Well, but yeah, no, you're right on there, man. I guess I'm probably in the minority. I guess I still enjoy a good full-length album, but I get where you guys are coming from, and I think a lot of people are doing it now, where it's more efficient to maybe cut 4, 5, 6 songs, release it, and then in 6 months do another 4, 5, 6 songs, cut and release it, and it allows you to kind of extend your touring cycle as well, right?
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly right. So it takes a lot of the pressure off, being a new artist and having to be out there and grinding it. And, that time you would take, off going back into a new record cycle to create the new record right. is a lot of time. And with a new artist, sometimes it could be the death of, yes. That artist, because they stay off the radar for so long that, they weren't out there long enough. Then they get off the radar for another length of time, and it kind of takes away the momentum. So this way, we can keep the momentum, and we've got enough material for, the second record and some sitting and waiting. We've got a couple really cool covers. The label asked us to pick 2 songs that were female fronted or female artists over 20 years old. So we covered Madonna, Like a Prayer, and we did nice. You Ought to Know, Alanis Morissette, and just did kind of like a gender flip, on the wording. Yeah. And those songs are really cool, so I look forward to actually being able to get those out. I don't know when those will come out, but they're sick. So.
Well, those are 2 good picks, man. And you'll listen to some of your guys' catalog, the back catalog stuff. I think that picking those songs allows you to kind of share your musical spectrum quickly, to an audience. Maybe people who are unaware that you guys have been a band for 10 years and aren't going to maybe hear a lot of that back catalog stuff, where they can kind of hear your musical influences and taste and spectrum in a short span in just 4, 5, 6 songs. So that's a good pick from you guys, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, they were fun to do too.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you probably get asked this quite a bit. I know you've been doing a bunch of interviews and stuff about band name, and I'm always curious, not necessarily why you selected the band name. Do you remember any names you did not select before selecting Savage After Midnight? Do you remember the list by chance of bands that the names that were on there that didn't make the cut?
God, they were like, oh my God. So we got put in a position on that. So we were originally called Empire City, but there is there's an artist, I think in Iceland or Denmark or something like that, that had the name, and they're pretty well established in the digital world. So if we were to use that name, it would hinder us when we went to do the worldwide release. So we had to go to the drawing board. We had to go pretty quickly, and we had to really dig to find something that had depth and meaning to us. And, in that you are going to have, part of your band that gets tired of thinking of meaningful things, and you just start throwing, shit to the wall, for lack of better terms. So there was
Where's the name generator on Facebook, man?
Oh my God. I'm sure some of them used it, because some of the crap that they were turning into me, I was like, send me this, send me, I need, 10 with meaning or whatever, 20 or whatever it might be. And, as time went on, and we kept rejecting so many that it was then it started becoming just straight garbage. So I'm sure they were using that generator to come up with. There was one name that I was fighting pretty hard for that I wanted. Havana Sleeps, and that got vetoed when we came up with Savage After Midnight. So I do remember that name that I actually did like, Havana Sleeps. That was pretty cool.
No, Havana Sleeps is good. That could be even a name of an EP or a song or something. I mean, that definitely has something maybe to put on the back burner for later, man. People always say nothing good happens after midnight. I say everything there's a lot more fun after midnight.
Oh yeah, that's exactly where that name comes from.
Yeah,
we're savages when it comes to that. Like, we're business savvy dudes during the day, and handling shit, and then at night it hits midnight. We're cutting loose. It gets wild, super wild. If you ever go to my Instagram, you'll see, go to shy_s.a.m, and yeah, you'll see it gets a little gnarly on there.
Awesome, I dig it, man.
Like
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Good. No,
I was gonna say, if you haven't been to an ATM at 2 or 3 in the morning, and you're out and about, you're just not doing it right,
Oh yeah, and the location of the ATM is key.
That's true. Don't make it a walk-up one. You want to make sure you can drive up to it at least,
Yeah, well, if you are at a walk-up one, we probably know what kind of establishment you're at.
Right. The fee is how much?
I'm just saying. Oh, $13 to take out $100. Oh, yeah. We know where you're hanging out. You can't hide that shit.
It sounds like me and you could be possibly hanging out at some of the same places, man. So,
bro, I'm pretty sure I've seen you there, man.
Yeah, but the tips aren't as good as they used to be, So, I mean,
we'll start throwing ones on you.
You're right.
It's good times, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's good, man. I was gonna, kind of wrap up here. I know you guys are, obviously with the tour with Pop Evil, the EP. I don't think there's a specific release date right now, right? Or no?
They've got a target date in mind. I think it's March. So it's kind of where we're at with it. I know that they're letting 10 Feet Tall grow legs right now, and then they'll go after, doing some small radio stuff right now, and then they're going to go after, full impact on the song, here soon. So, just letting people digest 10 Feet Tall, and then, I mean, the rest of the EP is just full of like some sick tunes, and then the one right after it is just chock full of more crazy stuff, and it's a lot to look forward to. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, but it's obviously an exciting time for you guys as a band, and I'm looking forward to you guys are gonna be coming through the Nashville area where I'm located. I think with Pop Evil sometime in February. So let's get back together then. That by that time we'll have I imagine you'll have a solid date as far as release and everything. We can kind of get a little more deeper into the EP and everything that's in it. But is there a video in the works for 10 Feet Tall?
Yeah, so we did. The cool thing about all of our video stuff is it's all going to be 30 to 40% animation, if not more. And the animation, we've got a guy named Howard Russell that does stuff for like Sports Center and Adult Swim, stuff like that. He's ridiculous. Has been animating. So our videos take a little longer to put out because, we'll transform from, us, as human beings in real life into illustrated version to us. And then there's what we turn into after midnight. So, which are the Savages, which is, It's pretty gnarly, dude. It's like super cool. So, yeah, when the video comes out, like the first, we got a pseudo video up right now, which is just like, just has a song playing, and it's got, you can see at the very tail end of it, it spirals down around us. We're all in a circle, and it starts to show us animated as kids, like little punk kids. And then, you'll see how it all ties together when the full video comes out, because it's super gnarly.
Dude, that sounds killer, man. I'm looking forward to checking it out. And I encourage everyone, obviously, head on over to you guys' website, Facebook. We'll have links, so everyone can obviously find you guys, really, Savage After Midnight, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. And we'll close out with 10 Feet Tall. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing, Shy?
Man, just rock it, spread the word, spread the love, and thank you for the time. We appreciate it for sure.
Dude, same, man. I always appreciate, I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still humbled and honored that people are, dig what we're doing here at the RevelatorShow.com site, man. And anytime, people want to come on it and jam some new tunes, we're all about it, man. And let's do that right now. I'm going to shut up and we'll do it. It's 10 Feet Tall, Savage After Midnight here on Revelator.